Contrary to popular belief, NASCAR is more than turning left. You need to check the airflow on your car, you need to go 3 wide with other people, you also need to check when to lift off on corners, when to go full throttle, you also need a very good setup, and considering the fact that these cars are really dogs to drive, you got yourself a sport that is very, very hard and is very understated, really. With that little thing out of the way, hello everyone, welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be looking at a few F1 drivers who have driven in NASCAR. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, you know that Alonso and Jimmy Johnson swapped cars. Alonso drove the NASCAR and Johnson drove the F1 car, and did a few times, really, just as a PR stunt. But there have been actual Formula 1 drivers who have actually driven in NASCAR, and, well, here are some of them. First off, we have Scott Speed. Now, Scott Speed, he was fired from Toro Rosso in 2007 and was quickly moved to the Red Bull Racing NASCAR program, or team, and yeah, he kind of failed quite a lot, and he was eventually let go, and he went on to Rallycross, where somehow he managed to get banned on iRacing for intentionally crashing out people. So, yeah, not exactly the best of drivers in Formula 1 or NASCAR, so, yeah. His NASCAR Cup Series stats are this: no wins, 4 top 10s, and no poles. Up next, we have Kimi Thickboy Raikkonen. Now, during his stint away from Formula 1, he actually tried a bit of NASCAR. One race in the Nationwide Series, which was the second tier of NASCAR, and the Camping Truck Series, which is the third tier of NASCAR. Now, in his Camping Trucks race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, he finished 17th place in Kyle Busch's team, which is, it's alright, but still, it's the third tier of NASCAR. This is a Formula 1 Drivers' Champion winner we're talking about here, and he's struggling in the third tier of NASCAR. Well, not exactly struggling, he's at the top end of, the race, but still, 17th place, you'd expect him to win, being the 2007 Formula 1 champion, but, yeah, it really does go to show that NASCAR isn't easy, and even the best of F1 drivers struggle. Speaking of which, up next we have Jacques Villeneuve. Now, Jacques Villeneuve is, of course, the 1997 Formula 1 World Champion, and he also has some experience in kart as well, so, you would expect him to be at least a bit better in ovals than Raikkonen or Scott Speed, and you could say so. I mean, he made 4 Cup Series starts, 9 Nationwide starts, and 7 Truck Series starts, however, with no wins. And even on the road courses, he was struggling. So, Jacques, once again, another failed Formula 1 to NASCAR experience. On to possibly one of the most popular F1 to NASCAR stories, Juan Pablo Montoya. Now, Juan Pablo Montoya actually did have kind of a successful NASCAR career. He made 255 Cup starts, 23 Nationwide starts, and won 2 Cup races and 1 Nationwide win. Overall, he wasn't exactly a championship contender, but it's fair to say that he was all right in NASCAR. Of course, he left Formula 1 because of stuff. Let's just put it like that. He left in the middle of the 2006 season to race solely in NASCAR, and, well, let's just say he said some stuff about F1 which I highly disagree with. But yeah, overall, Montoya was a successful NASCAR driver, relatively. I think he did have a few crashes with a couple of people, but compared to other drivers, he was possibly one of the most successful F1 to NASCAR drivers. On to our final example here, we go to Dan Gurney. Now, Dan Gurney drove in the Grand National Series He made 16 starts and won 5 of those. So this was also during the time where he was driving Formula 1. This wasn't after he was kicked out or just left. This was when he was still racing Formula 1. So, yeah, I think he, out of everyone, had the most successful NASCAR career, despite how short it was. But, yeah, Dan Gurney, 16 starts, 5 wins, very impressive record. And, yeah, I think out of everyone on this list, he was the most successful. Now, before I end this video, I must also explain that Jackie Stewart also raced NASCAR a few times, or one time, I don't know, but he did race in NASCAR as well. And also Jan Magnussen, son of Kevin Magnussen, drove in NASCAR. He also raced in Formula 1 for a certain time. Speaking of which, I'd like to show you a quote which I found whilst researching for this. This was made by Jan Magnussen himself. So, this is what he said. "They drive so aggressively, but still with respect, and that I admire. They go 2 wide and 3 wide. That'll never happen in ALMS. Anyway, and not only in ALMS, but anywhere else I've run. If somebody is on the inside of me, I'm either lifting or falling off, but here, they allow you to race and be 2 and 3 wide. It was fantastic." And I think with that quote, I'm going to end this video. I think that really does go to show what Formula 1 drivers and people away from NASCAR really do think of NASCAR. You know, I feel like there needs to be more of a acceptance of NASCAR within the F1 community, because I see a lot of people make the stupid, false, they only turn left comment. I mean, as you've seen, they drive on road courses. I've shown evidence, so hopefully this stupid stereotype and stupid joke that's not even funny goes away. And yeah, with that, guys, I end this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.